Scoring a Wessex League main match, non-scoring athletes. So for the purposes of this video, let's assume that we have received all of the declarations from the competing clubs in this current match. Notice how for each non-scoring event that an athlete is doing, they will be assigned an X in this non-scoring column on the declaration sheet. This is true for the under 13s, under 15s, under 17s, and also for the under 20s if they're competing in a non-scoring event. What this does is allows the system to highlight the fact that this athlete needs a non-scoring number. So the next step is to assign numbers to all of the non-scoring athletes. And this is done from the non-scoring sheet, the little orange highlighted tab down here. Now the first step is to assign numbers, like I say. Columns I through M are the process, or that's where you do this. This is a duplicate of all of the declared information in columns J through M here. So this is Winchester. I don't have any test data. If I just scroll down, there are a few test athletes in Swindon. And remember how we had Conchita and she was doing a non-scoring event. I think it was 1200 or something. And so we know we need to assign Conchita a number. We can either do this manually, just going down the sheet, looking for these X's. And so I would assign a number here, a number here. These numbers do not have to be contiguous and they do not have to start at 1. So yes, I could have 1, 2, I could have 101 and 105, I could have any number. They do need to be unique for obvious reasons, however, because otherwise, how will you know which athlete we're talking about? It's not the case where they only have to be unique within the age group, they have to be unique within the match, and that covers both male and female. Everyone needs a unique number. There is an easier way to find the highlighted athletes. This drop down here, this is a filter, and we can filter by only the X's shown in this column. This is obviously a lot easier. I can then go through and assign numbers. I have to have the physical numbers on my desk, and then I can assign these, and then on the day the club will come in and I will say, here are your numbers for your athletes. There you go. Please make sure that your non-scoring athletes have the appropriate number. That's great. All the athletes have numbers. Now the next step is when a result happens, the result slip will come in from the timekeepers. It may be a dedicated non-scoring result. It may be a non-scoring athlete, a track athlete is competing in a race with other scoring athletes, in which case they'll need to be manually brought out separately and recorded separately on this sheet. The third case is a field event where almost certainly the field non-scoring athlete will have competed alongside their scoring counterparts in the same event, and this is where we record that non-scoring data. So just remember, if it is an actual event, let's say the shot put, then you'll need to record the match results for the scoring athletes and then the non-scoring athletes separately, although I do recommend one after the other just so you don't forget. The process, it's a very free form entry here. The reason is we need to be flexible on the day. Lots of non-scoring athletes tend to be doing lots of different events, so we don't have this structure of only enter the 100 here, only enter the 200 here. You just enter the athlete number. This needs to correspond with any number that's in this that's been assigned on the day. So this might be athlete, let's say athletes 1 and 6, Conchita and Elizabeth. Both in Swindon, both under, well, different age groups. Notice how this is pre-populated based on the number that I previously assigned the athlete. Then time distance is a free text field. Let's say this was the long jump and long jump. There's not even a position column. Literally, we're just recording these very talented distances I've given these people, and that's it. We're done recording non-scoring. There may well be lots and lots of non-scoring athletes, so hopefully this is not going to be an awfully time-consuming process per entry. But yeah, just work your way through every non-scoring event as it comes in and record them in this sheet. This can obviously be printed separately, but they don't count towards scoring for the main match. Thank you for listening. Just a couple more points actually before I go on non-scoring. So during 2018 we had a whole club competing non-scoring. So you didn't enter the non-scoring club in the declaration sheets here, but what you do instead, if it's the whole club competing non-scoring, scroll all the way down to the bottom. There's an awful lot of scrolling to do. You might want to use the page down key. You're looking at around row number, here we are, row number about 1,000, like 979. And again, same process as before, just allocate each athlete in this non-scoring club a number, so 654, 655, or whatever you happen to have on hand, their name, club, and age group. And just like any other non-scoring result, these can be entered on the left-hand column here, and it will pre-populate with their name, club, and age. The other difficulty we had during the year was if a club happens to enter more athletes than will fit on the declaration sheet, please don't expand the declaration sheet by adding rows, because that will break the scoring system. It won't record the names properly. You'll end up with unknown athlete for some of the events. What you do instead, you're not going to have this many scoring athletes in the competition. It will only be if a club happens to enter quite a number of athletes who are only non-scoring on the day. So if that happens, if you run out of space in the declaration, make sure you've entered the scoring athletes. They need to be in the declaration. But if the athlete is just doing non-scoring on the day, that's another candidate that you can add to the bottom of the non-scoring list here. So again, you could just allocate them any old number you happen to have on hand, name, club, age, as before. You've got about 60 of these extra rows here that you can declare athletes in, so you shouldn't run out of rows, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's the updates in 2018. Thank you very much.